about a day later than we were previously on. Nothing has really changed. I'm still at level 95, making my way up to the grand level 99 with my party still early on in the game. I imagine that the amount of time that will take me to actually get there won't be very long. It may be clear in this video or very well the next. It does take a while, simply because leveling up just takes a goddamn long time in this game, especially the final few levels. That's to be expected in almost every game out there. I mean, even games like Kingdom Hearts and, other RPGs, even if you take the quickest route to, level up, usually it takes a while. There are some exceptions with some games, but generally you have to be pretty far in those games to utilize leveling up quickly. Case in point is one of my favorite franchises, Disgaea, which is brought to you by Nippon Software. In America, it's Nippon Software America, or NIS America. Very, very successful company. I really love the company. But their leveling things, their mechanics for leveling are kind of interesting. Mainly because in the past few years, it's definitely gotten a lot better. Each subsequent game always seems to find a way to make you stronger, more, able to do all the challenges that they bring forth. In particular, games like, I'm gonna say, the original Disgaea, and La Pucelle Tactics, and Phantom Brave. Those games actually took a really long time to level up. Same thing with Makai Kingdom. They were all kind of slow leveling, not that great, and they all released before Disgaea 2. When Disgaea 2 came out, they tried to streamline it a little bit better by giving you the ability to get this thing called felonies. And you had to do bad things, more or less, and collect a felony, basically having too much HP or something like that, and you go in and you would get felonies. The trick with it was that if you walked into the courtroom gate in Item World with a tower, you could literally walk in with 9 people getting the same felonies. I guess it's guilty by association because you went in. So it was relatively interesting. But then after, the original Disgaea had methods to actually make you level up fast, but the problem was that accumulating that, super leveling up thing called statistician stacking, it just took too long. A lot of players ignored it or got very little of it because Item World was a mess. You could literally walk into this area, a floor of Item World, and not be able to get to the exit. You would not be able to progress until you could kill all the enemies. The problem is the enemies and the exits are on an opposing side of the area. And so a lot of players complained about this. They were hoping that it would be eventually fixed. And in each game thereafter, it has been fixed for the most part, in some way or form. That's why La Pucelle's Dark World was so messed up, is because nobody could make it through it because everything was disconnected. So when Disgaea 2 came out, everything started becoming connected. They never had a landmass that was essential that was too far away. There's always a strategy on how to get to it. So the felony system definitely worked out. They replaced statisticians in that game. with the felony system, and it made a hell of a lot easier. Well, the games that came out after it, in particular that of Disgaea 3, brought back statisticians, which definitely helped, and people would just stack them, and there was this new item for item duplication, which people used to their heart's content. It worked out marvelously. It was called the Puppy Paw Stick. All you had to do is defeat one of your units. They had to be hostile. So in the item assembly or in Kara World, and you would have a chance to get, one of the pieces of equipment at random. So you're going off the randomness of random item and random chance of getting. And it would just make an exact copy of it. That means the exact level, stats, and everything. And even innocence. So you could literally double up. And a lot of people used that to their benefit, and it worked out great. Nothing in the game really screamed, oh, I'm so hard, I can't do anything. So that was great. A lot of gamers really loved that game. And then Disgaea 4 came out. Disgaea 4 was an oddball of a game. Mainly because a lot of things went into it. It was wonderfully done. The Puppy Paw Stick was again in that game, but a lot of gamers who got the game didn't necessarily always use it to max out stuff because of an in-game glitch. So the in-game glitch was when you first got the game, you would get far enough until you would get to, I think it's like chapter 3, where they give you access to item world. You're not very far in the game at all. And then you would make sure that you had gotten a statistician. And probably even a manager. We had two pretty highly essential things. Because you're going to be using these things a lot. I mean, you could use other things too, like gladiators, sentries, so forth. Or even brokers for money. So what you would do is you would go ahead and have these innocents on an item. It doesn't matter what the item was, okay? As long as you could, have these innocents on it. So, and then you would go to one of the stores and fill up your item bag and your warehouse, which at this time they were still separate in Disgaea 4. So you fill it up, you go in the item world. You would go 10 floors. At the 10th floor, you would clear it. So your item bag would be full. And your warehouse would be full. You would come out and they're like, oh yeah, mind you, the item that you had to go into had to be a piece of equipment. Okay? So what would happen is, when you would come out, they would tell you, oh, we're so sorry, you didn't have any room in your item bag or your warehouse. So we left it at the store. So you go to the store, you pay like a nominal fee for your piece of equipment. That's why I generally suggest a weak piece of equipment for this. And then you go to try it on. And you purchase by trying it on, and then you exit the store. And what will happen is, you will have bought your piece of equipment, and it's on one of your characters. So you need to make sure you have characters with empty item slots, first of all. I recommend a piece of armor rather than a piece of like a weapon, because it just works so much faster. And then what you do is, after you tried it on and you got it, you exit the store, you'll notice that you have one on there, and you go back to the store and they still have one. And this is kind of a big thing, because now you can get 2 of your item. And mind you, every time you try it on to purchase it, So you try it on, you purchase it, and you exit. You can repeatedly do this until you don't have any more slots open on any of your characters. Okay, in which case you might as well just like sell a few items so you can take off the pieces of equipment, combine your innocence, and go for another dive. So, I'll put it into retrospective. Okay, let's say I wanted to get a gladiator for whatever damn reason, okay? Everybody knows how gladiators work. They increase your attack power by 1% per level of the innocent. Okay, so the minimum that you can have for a subdued gladiator is level 2. Okay, because they're level 1, and then you kill it and it becomes double the level. So, it'll be level 2. So, just using the lowest gladiator as an example. Okay, so you go in, you subdue it, it's a level 2. Alright, come out, go to the item shop to try it on. You purchase, let's say it's an Imperial Seal, because it's easy, one of the easiest items to obtain in the game and everything. It's not very expensive. Actually, a pot lid would probably be better. Anyway, probably cost you somewhere between 0 and like 150 health. So, what you would do is, from there, you would go ahead and you would try it on. Let's say we're using it with like 8 characters, okay? Each character has 3 item slots available, okay? For armor, so that it can be equipped in, and they're all empty, okay? So there's 8 characters. So you try it on 8 times 3, which is 24. So you have 24 of these pot lids with a level 2 gladiator each. And there's a single level 2 gladiator. Alright? So, next thing you do, after you're done doing that, like, you get rid of some items in your inventory, you go pick up the 25th one from the store. Might as well just pick it up and buy it. You don't have to. It'll go away if you go back to the item world and don't pick it up. That's fine. Okay? For the purpose of this, I'm just going to say you bought it. Okay? That's 25 of these level 2 gladiators. Okay? Alright? So, the next thing you do is you take them off, put them in the... you start putting them onto each other, and you combine them repeatedly. What ends up happening is, by the time you're actually done with this single try of doing this, is you have a level 50 gladiator. Okay, that's not that great, right? Because it only increases your attack power by an additional 50%. Okay, great. You've done that. Now imagine repeating that process. So you go back in, make sure those 8 people have nothing on them, you have full inventory, and you come out and now you have a level 50 gladiator. Subdued. Because the gladiator didn't do anything. You just went 10 floors and you got the Gen C exit, and that's what you got. So you come out, you go back to the store and you do this again. This time with filling them all up. There's another 25 of those, okay? And 25 times 50, I'm trying to think, how many that is. My brain is fried. 5 times 250. So you'll have like, trying to think. My mouth is really bad right now. You'll have Oh god, 1,750 when you're done with it. Which is actually quite impressive, okay? Wow, you've gone a long way, right? I think that's math is on that. That looks weird. Sorry, 1,250 is what I was saying. Okay. Alright, so you go back in, and anybody who knows the cap of gladiators would know that the cap for gladiators on any particular item is going to be 19,998. So I'll say that again, 19,998. We do that again, and the exact same process, you'll come out on top with about 31,000 and some 31,250. Okay, which your max is 1,000, or sorry, not 1,000, 19,998. Which leaves you about an extra 11,000. Okay, I'm just going to say, for the purpose of this, we're not going to use that extra 11,000. Okay? So, this is where it starts getting a little bit interesting. Okay? So you have 19,098, and then you go in and you do this another 25 times. Or 24 times. Or, not 24. You do it another time, you get 24 of these things. By now, you've got a lot of pot lids. You can probably like sell them or whatever. Okay. So by now you have enough to fill up 8 characters with max gladiators. In this case, yeah, a little over 8, but yeah, about 8. And now you're really powerful, so you deal a hell of a lot more damage. Okay? This is the basis for how the game's like cheat system worked before it was patched. Which means you can't do any updates to do this. And when prompted with the update, you might as well just disconnect your network, because it's going to constantly ask you. Okay? And I don't mean not be signed in. I mean go to your internet settings and turn off your internet settings. Like, disable your internet, period. Because you may press X when you don't want to, it'll kick you out of the game, and it will try to update. It's that big of a deal. Mind you, if you've already gotten the update, but you haven't gotten any of the optional characters, the DLC characters or anything like that, or done that stuff for the DLC, then you'll be fine. You just have to delete the patch and, like, so you delete the system data and then you go back in. Okay, and then when prompted, make sure your internet is off. So, in the case of the situation where you're trying to get statisticians, it's a little bit different. Not much. So you start with 2, you do this 25 times, you know, you get 50, then how that goes. And then you do this by another 25 times. So this is the second run, you end up with about 1,200. Okay? This is where it gets kind of funny, because you can put quite a few of these things on there. A normal item, you can have 4 slots per character, or per item per character. Okay, so that means you can have a whole whopping 12 slots. If you did it this way, you'd end up with a little over, you know, I'm going to say about let's see, divide that by the 4 slots, you'd have a maxed out statistician after the second thing on a single item. And then after the third one, you would just have accesses, okay? So the way statisticians work is you gain an extra 1% per innocent to a maximum of 300. This was kind of a weird concept in the older games because every other statistician, or not statistician, innocent could go up way higher. It really confused a lot of players. It didn't make a whole lot of sense considering other things were like cryophiles and firefighters could only go up to 100, professionals could only go up to 100. All of the main like stat boosting stuff could go up to 19,998, and all of the stat increasing based off of experience kind of things. That means like statisticians, managers could only go up to that point. Hey, cool, all leveled up. I'm getting there. So, by this point, by the third run, you get a ton of those. You have 25 of those. That means you could max out 8 people with that by the third time you're done with your run. And then by the time you're done with your 4th run, you get another 8. So this is really important because legendary items can go up to 8 slots. And so if you're using a legendary item and you get all of the slots open, that means the 1% per level per innocent, which is 300% per innocent, and you can have 8 of them on an item. That's just on the armor. That's 7,200. Okay, this is a percentile. Okay, so that means you're gaining 73 times the experience because 72. It's an extra 72%. So 73%. Okay, this is just for armor. Now, if you add in an additional stuff for your weapon, it's a legendary weapon, you get an extra 8 slots by 3. Okay? That means at that point, before you're doing anything else, and you've filled it up, you get an additional 96 times the experience. So 97 times the experience that you previously have. So given an enemy that is worth, or a battle or enemy, whichever you like to call it, that is level 100, okay, or even not even level 100. Let's go with something relatively weaker, something really early on the game. Even if they only give you 10 experience, they would give you 970 experience. Okay, this is kind of a big deal. So if you ever get the chance, that's where it comes into play. Now, people might be saying, well, you have no life if you know all this, then why would you even do it? Well, when you play a game, you generally want to play it to its full potential. You know, you want to be able to become the strongest that you can possibly be when you're playing these games, especially when the enemies can literally kick your ass at any given point, no matter what level you are. That's why you need the levels. Okay, and it makes it a lot easier, especially if you're just playing it for the story. I mean, if you're just playing it for the story and you don't care about any of the DLC or anything else like that, I definitely recommend this method. Because it doesn't take very long to do it. It's way faster than any other type of grinding to do. Like, yes, you'll probably have to grind a little bit. And when I mean a little bit, I mean you're probably, this entire method is probably going to take you close to maybe an hour. And then for the actual leveling up, probably, I'm going to say maybe an hour for that. So you're spending 2 hours, whereas if you did not use this method, it would probably take you a good 12. Sometimes even more. It just kind of all depends. So, very interesting concept. It works for only Disgaea 4 though, for this thing. Otherwise, you're stuck to your devices with the puppy paw stick and so forth, which aren't accessible until way later in the game. Again, I don't really like puppy paw stick. It kind of seems kind of ridiculous that you have to kill enemies or allies in like Carol World and so forth. Likewise, the game didn't possess anything that was really out there, but it's an enjoyable game. It's definitely up there as being probably my favorite Disgaea, simply because they have some interesting characters. Anybody who's ever heard of Desco knows what I mean. Because she is, well, the most interesting character in the entire game. At least for me. Then there's Disgaea D2. D2 did something that was, in my opinion, a very cool thing to the games, okay? They posed the idea that we're going to have a lot of DLC, just like Disgaea 4, which Disgaea 4's DLC is through the roof for cost. I don't ever suggest buying it all because it's so much money. I got burned when I played Disgaea 3 with DLC. I don't ever recommend it. Disgaea 3 now has, you know, a full DLC pack for $50. Mind you, I think you can buy the game of Disgaea 3 for like maybe $10 or $15. Or you can buy the 3-pack, which is Disgaea 3, Disgaea 4, and Disgaea D2, from, like, on the PlayStation 3. I'm going to say they have a physical copy of this, for like $40 new. I don't know how much it is used. Mind you, that is the price as of now, which is February of 2016. It came out like only a few months ago, so that's a big issue there. But the DLC, the reason why I say I got burned on it is because I bought Disgaea 3 right when it came out. Okay, I bought the strategy guide and the game. Okay, strategy guide was like $30, I think, and the game itself was $60. Okay, so you can see me, I'm spending like $90 right there. That's not so bad, right? Well, the amount that I spent in DLC was more than $100. And then they came out with an all-in-one pack, which people who had previously bought every DLC for the game could send in their download codes that they did and get the code for the full pack. Which was a nice thing, except for the full pack only included one additional thing, and that's why a lot of people were upset about it. When Disgaea 4 came out, people were like, well, I'm not going to buy the DLC unless they come out with a all-in-one pack. Well, they never did. And to buy the DLC for that game is more than $100 again. And like I said, you could probably get the game $10, $15. $20 tops. Okay? Kind of a ridiculous thing. But then when you look at other games, though, I'm gonna say Disgaea D2 did the same thing with the DLC. The only difference is that they had a built-in boss. Okay, this is where a lot of people started getting a little bit nervous about exactly how Disgaea was going to be playing out, because every Disgaea game up to this point has had Bao in some way or form. In Disgaea 1, they had the Big Bao, so the original, with his level 4000 self being kind of a badass, and if you beat him and came back, you would have to face a level 6000 version of him. When you played Disgaea 2, those numbers became level 4000 and level 8000. Still not that great, but when you're fighting the level 8, yeah, I think it was level 8000, you had to fight like 4 of them, plus a pretty version, which that's what the level 6001 was in the original Disgaea. So far, not that big of a deal. Okay, Bao has always been kind of a big hassle. Okay, but before I get too far, Bao has been around in Nippon Ichi Software games, or related to the Disgaea series for quite some time. Originally conceived in the, I believe, Lava Shell Tactics, at least here in North America, was a level 2000 demon, which you could kill, you could recruit, you know, that kind of stuff. Disgaea released afterwards, and in between Disgaea and Disgaea 2, Phantom Brave came out, where you can fight a level 4000 Bao. He was in the form of a mushroom now, and he forces his way into your party after you beat him. Obviously, Morona makes a big hoo-ha about it, and she's like, no, we can't allow him to join. I was like, alright, fine, whatever, recruitable Bao, that's kind of cool. Then Makai Kingdom came out, where you could fight a level 4000 version of him in Zeta's body. So he's in Zeta's body. And then you can refight him. This time they're in a vehicle, and there's, I think, 8 or 10 Prinny versions of them that are all like level 8000. Okay, this is actually kind of a scary thought, because the ship can move around and attack you, like, so the vehicle, and then these Prinnies can go in and out of the damn thing, which was super annoying. So you had to be really powerful. Unfortunately, I was never really powerful enough to actually kill them. I was really upset about that, mainly because it takes forever to level up in that game, much like Makai Kingdom and Disgaea 1 and Lava Shell Tactics. Disgaea 2, he came back as his form that he was in Disgaea 1, and then you get a Prinny version with 4 normal versions to fight the second round. It's kind of like a rematch thing. You don't necessarily have to do it, and sometimes you do get an item for like the first time you clear it, but I wouldn't recommend going for that, okay? So, moving on to Disgaea 4, this boss, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Disgaea 3, he came back as a mushroom, like that of Phantom Brave. So it was kind of a callback to that game, which I was kind of happy. And then, when you get into Disgaea 4, he reverted back as only DLC from the complete DLC package. Or, not complete DLC package. No, that's Disgaea 3. Yeah, they have the alternate version of him, where he magic changes into, like, a golf club. Everybody kind of laughed at that one. Disgaea 4, he came back as his original version, but he wasn't really all that strong, I think. It's been a while since I played it. Maybe he wasn't in the game. Damn, I can't remember. Either way, it wasn't that big of a deal because Pringer X was like the big bad enemy in that game. And then Disgaea D2 did something a little bit strange, because Disgaea D2 was supposed to be the direct sequel of Disgaea 1, with all the great new mechanics. They've been tweaking them for years, and they brought in Bao again. But this Bao was a bit different. The reason why I say it was different is because of the way that he is structured. He's structured in such a way that you had to be very high level, you had to have your skills pretty much maxed, you had to have your equipment maxed, and you had to have a variety of skills. Okay? Now, some people are like, wait, why can't I just hit him with, Dimension Slash, like 10 times or 50 times and that'll work? Well, because he has some messed up abilities, that make it kind of not a great idea. The one that I like to point out was the idea that once he's hit by a skill, if he's ever hit by the same skill again, he will instead take no damage and his stats will increase. So you have to use a variety of skills. Okay, not that big of a deal. He only has so much health, right? Well, the developers definitely made it so that he was not going to be just a cakewalk and you just be able to kill him. They decided to also give him 8 forms. So, not exactly a cakewalk at all. So I was just like, wow, they're going really out of their way to try to make this guy damn near impossible to kill. Mind you, I only got like 3 or 4 forms in, and I couldn't hurt him anymore, but he couldn't kill me anymore, and I was very upset because I just wasn't making any progress. But when Disgaea 5 came out, so PlayStation 4 version, they had a very similar battle as the one in D2. And I was just like, oh great, this is going to be a lot of fun. Except, instead of fighting 1, they want you to fight 4. And he comes with 8 additional allies that all have massively powerful equipment. Their stats are maxed out, and I'm just like over here, it's like, are you kidding me? So I have not tried to fight him really. I just took a glimpse at him when I was kind of a low level, and I haven't went back. All I remember is they're level 9,999. Awesome stats, great equipment, great abilities, lots of support, and the big thing that has been plaguing me for quite a while is the introduction of the worst evility in existence in all of Disgaea. Well, my battle has it, thank God, but it also is a pain in my ass. So, what it does is, whenever you have a character that comes out of the base panel, it immediately damages that character. That means if you pull a character out, even before you get a chance to move from the panel or anything else like that, the character takes damage, okay? And it's not a percentile, it is based off of Bao's attack. Alright? In addition to that, if you take a character out, you move them around, or whatever, you're getting ready to move them around, and then you're like, oh no, I want to cancel, put them back in the base panel, or whatever, or even worse yet, you take them out, you're like, oh no, I don't want this character yet. And then you put them back in, you take them back out again, they will get damaged more than once. Okay? Now, this is an incredibly big deal because in Disgaea D2, you can get a character out. Like, they will deal damage to it immediately. Okay, that's great. You only take it once. In Disgaea 5, on the other hand, it happens 4 times. So, you have to have a massive amount of HP. So, I'm definitely going to suggest the curry thing. But also, you have to have a pretty decent defense. You have to have a decent attack. And decent health. Well, if you're maxing out all of your stats, in this case, which I'm on the way of doing that, you have to take care of, like, getting to be super powerful. So, luckily, there's the shard thing and the essence thing. Which, you get shards by killing enemies that are in revenge mode. And you get essences by capturing them and then turning them into essence. Which sounds like a really cruel thing, but and then you combine them and so forth. I would combine essences over shard though, because they work a lot better. Problem is that you can't use them to completely max out your stats. You need additional things. You need to have like max reincarnations, you have to have good equipment, good weapon aptitudes, and of course, good innocence. So, all those things combined is going to equate being able to be powerful enough to fight them. At least I hope. But then, the thing is, you can't just do it with one character. Mind you, that's been my plan all these years since I basically started playing the game, was having one character kind of be the badass and killing everything. But now I have to use like an entire party. So I've been working on getting them all up. Problem is actually getting up the proper characters. Right now I have a male warrior that's going to be my primary damage dealer, but I also have my magic knight that's also going to be a damage dealer. But then some of the actual characters from the game, like the main characters, and even DLC characters would be useful for the most part, except for I don't know how well they would fare. Sometimes the abilities just don't help me enough, and they come with additional attacks, but I haven't really been working on them that much. I have been working on a few, like Prie and Pram. I don't know, I've been also increasing Desco, because Desco as a DLC character is just kind of awesome. They're playing off my fandom of Desco from Disgaea 4. Mind you, that's one of the main reasons why I really like the DLC season pass for that game, is because I get everything and it's not very expensive. What they need to change though is their DLC policy for Disgaea 4 and Disgaea D2, because I want the DLC for that game, but it's just too goddamn expensive. Mind you, right now I am a college student, that's probably partially due to that. Maybe once I am actually done with college and am actually in a position where I'm actually making a good amount of money, I might be able to drop $100 down for the DLC. But at the same point, I'm going to be working a lot. And so, I want to make sure that I actually have time. But first I need to pay back college loans and all that other good stuff. Mind you, I really love talking about Disgaea because it's one of those game series that I've been with for a long time. Same thing with like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Though I'm not 100% like all caught up with a lot of these franchises. Like Final Fantasy, I haven't played Final Fantasy 3. I haven't beat Final Fantasy 2. I barely have played Final Fantasy 2 to be precise. I have Origins on my PlayStation 3. And I haven't really done anything with it. Mind you, there are other things out there too. Like, I've never played 11. I call myself Mune all the time, but somebody else I know had that handle, so that name, in Final Fantasy 11 for a number of years. And honestly, I don't really talk to him a whole lot. I haven't had contact with him for a few years now. I'm not sure if something happened or the like. I've heard rumors, but who knows? I think he might have been arrested or something. I'm not sure. But that being the case, either way, it's kind of out there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I did play a little bit of the beta for Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. And I played the beta twice, to be precise. 2 different occasions. And that was an interesting thing. I was very angry with the game, though. Anybody who knows me at all knows that MMOs have to be both complex and simple at the same time. Okay? A lot of the stuff that I was very upset about was there is a story to Final Fantasy 14. But you can't have anybody, like, experience the story with you. So that irritated me a little bit. I mean, why couldn't you have a party? You know? Wow, that's interesting. Way to go, Eric. Healing yourself. So... the other thing that kind of ticked me off was the dungeon restrictions. Okay, I think I mentioned previously about the holy trinity of gaming. Well, unfortunately, Final Fantasy 14 takes that to a new level. Is when you want to enter a dungeon, you have to have people who meet the criteria. So if you have a party of 4, you need to have, get this, 2 tanks, 4 DPSs, and 2 healers. Like, that's for a... Sorry, that's... I mentioned the one for an 8-group party, sorry. For a single party, you have to have a tank, 2 DPSs, and a healer. If you're going to go into an 8-person party, you have to have double that for each of those. So, 2 tanks, 4 DPS, and 2 healers. I don't get it. I don't know why they always want you to be that, and why can't you just walk in with a party of, you know, mainly white mages? I mean, could you imagine walking into an area and be like, well, I'm a DPS, and you running across, I don't know, 6 healers and a single tank? Like, alright, we have the Holy Trinity, except for we have more of the Trinity on one side rather than the other. So, that was my major issue with that. I didn't like that, those two mechanics working together. I was also very angry at the entire materia system when I was playing the beta in both cases. I worked all the way up to the materia, and tried to utilize it, and it just basically said it wouldn't do, my stuff was too low level, wouldn't have any like benefits whatsoever, and I'm just like, well, that kind of sucks. And then I asked other players about it, like my friends, and they're like, oh yeah, it's mainly used for PvP, and I was like, what? Why? And it's like, oh, it increases like your strength by like 3 or up to like 4, I think it was. And I was like, that isn't all that great. Like, I had to do like a ton of quests to even unlock this thing, and it took me a really long time. And then I get pretty much shot down saying, oh yeah, no, this won't work, and I'm just like, what? Why? So I was hoping that the materia system would be a little bit more like that of Final Fantasy VII rather than that of like what it is. Also, I think I might make it to level 99 in this video. I'm actually doing pretty good. But I'm going to open up my menu after this battle and take a look, see how many fancy downs I have. See, I'm level 98 already. But I wanted to see how many downs I had. I have 99. I'm going to make my way back to Wutai. Surprising a battle that Eric didn't get a chance to counter because the enemy missed. So yeah, I would really like to play MMO more like games like White Knight Chronicles. White Knight Chronicle was an amazing game. The online play was fairly decent, and people worked together pretty seamlessly. Though, I kind of wish that more players were on it, and there was more to do in it. Unfortunately, they kind of got shafted by a lot of other factors running into the industry. In particular, a lot of players kind of jumped ship. Weren't buying a whole lot of DLC. They were waiting for the DLC that was made in Japan. The company kind of went bankrupt through the process of making it try to work in White Knight Chronicles. Alright, let's take a look. Got some downs. I'm gonna sell all but one, as usual. Let's sell some of these. Alright. Alright, well, going back out here. Alright, so moving up in the world, elevation-wise. So, I really do want to play more Final Fantasy games, but unfortunately, due to how long they usually take, I usually only play the ones I really like multiple times. I played through 8 actually twice. I had started like a third time. And that's when I really noticed that the junction system kind of faulty for me, and that's why I generally avoid that game. Plus, card playing takes a really long time. Final Fantasy IX I played through twice. I do love the story to a degree, but there's just something about the game that I feel is kind of unnerving. Maybe it's just how long it is and how depressing it kind of is. Somehow Final Fantasy VII is a little bit more upbeat. I mean, even when I think about Final Fantasy VI, I think it's a bit more upbeat than 9, for whatever reason. But who knows? Final Fantasy X, there were so many problems that I had with 10. I really hated the story for 10. I felt like players were being, you know, basically punished for the situation, and I, for one, was very upset with some of the characters. They hit a little bit too close to home for me, especially of people that I have met in the past that I just absolutely hate. In particular, the character Jack. I know I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I don't really like him. Some people think he's a complete badass and he's awesome, and he really loves his son, and I'm just over here, it's like, he reminds me of a drunk father. One that is trying to make amends for the past that he's done, and which he doesn't really succeed. And he has some regrets. Yes, I understand that. But the fact that he even got into that place in the first place made me mad. So, very upset about that. In a way, I was so upset about it that I did go through the game and play it, and I didn't feel any better even after I played it. I was just like, this is kind of a waste of time. I also felt like I was kind of rushing through the game a little bit because I was in anticipation to play Final Fantasy XII, which, when I beat Final Fantasy X, was the night before Final Fantasy XII was released. And I absolutely adored Final Fantasy XII, like, for its battle system. Didn't really like it too much for its story. A lot of people compared it to Star Wars, and honestly, I really do like Star Wars, but I don't think it's really appropriate to be comparing it too much with Star Wars. Mind you, it is a wonderful game. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's because they actually gave you a single-player explorative aspect to it. Like, I was really happy that they allowed you to kind of wander after a certain point. There are areas that were completely optional. You didn't even have to go anywhere near them. I really like that aspect of games, where they're like, oh yeah, you don't have to go here, but you can. And if you do, there's additional story and so forth. In particular, if you walk into the Necro Hall of Nabidis, or the, God, I'm having a moment. The other optional area, Field of Mist, I can't remember what it's called. Those are completely optional areas. And I really like those areas because of how optional they are. Plus, the whole random treasure chest thing was kind of cool. Where there's a chance for them to spawn, and chance that they will have different treasure in it each time you open it. I really like that aspect to a degree. So, kind of a randomness factor, but at the same time it also irritated me because I was trying to get a diamond armlet before I went to Arcades. Mind you, that was on my second playthrough. I think I ended up playing through the game twice. But on my first playthrough, I had completed the entire bestiary. So, it's a very wonderful thing to have completed that. I didn't know who to thank about that. All I know is that I was ecstatic. The Gambit system made it feel like I was playing with other people, but there were some other things that were kind of awesome about that too. It allowed me to maneuver my party without actually being there, which was kind of nice for the grinding part. But at the same time, who really wants to be around when they're grinding? Sometimes it's important too, sometimes it's not. Especially if you're just like, I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's not going to act any differently than I would. The only difference is that there is human error involved with actually being in front of it, and the actual human aspect of it. Otherwise, it's just a machine. Mind you, that's why I like the Gambit system, and I wish the Gambit system could be, or was, tweaked a bit further, and you didn't have to progress so far through the game to unlock certain Gambits. That's one thing that really bugged me about that. Because to tell your characters to use a cure when your health dropped below, I don't know, 50%, you had to get almost halfway through the game for. That's why I was a bit upset about that. Or use a potion, or whatever, when your health dropped below 50%. It's basically auto potion for a certain percentage of health, which I really liked that you could do it, but at the same time, you had to go really far in the game for that. And I thought that was pretty much a no-brainer, because you can do the exact same thing by monitoring your character's health and just using the goddamn item. I'm guessing it also had something to do with the fact that they didn't want you to abuse the system, because some enemies would just constantly come back, and you would just be able to kill them over and over and over again relatively early. Which, the first enemy that you can actually do that with appears a bit later. Like, I'm trying to remember. It's after the Tomb of Wraithwall. Still Shrine, if I remember correctly. Which, that area was kind of wonderful. Because they had an enemy who would spawn and would spawn other enemies. And you could technically have your characters only attack the weaker enemies. So, when I was playing it, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to have them do that and make sure that they were ready for any abnormal status effects. And would use charge whenever their MP got too low. Yep, and here we are again. Aerith is level 98 now. Yuffie is still level 98. She is quickly approaching level 99. I'm so happy for this ×3 speed thing. I don't know what I would do without it. Mind you, I have played this game countless times without ×3 speed, so everybody knows. Maybe at a later point in time I will upload my save file from Disc 1 on the PlayStation 3 of my characters being level 99 on Disc 1 before going to the Temple of the Ancients. Also, I don't think you should get the trophy until you actually become level 99, so you can't get it before you actually hit the button. So, here it comes. I'm going to level up here in a moment. Probably the next battle or two. Hopefully this battle. Go Aerith! Notice I have not gotten the trophy. Alright, awesome. Let's see if the trophy comes up before I actually hit the button, because that's one of the big things that a lot of people want to know. See, Leisure leveling. Mind you, none of my characters are level 99 right this second. I call bullshit on that trophy. You should not appear until that. So Yuffie is level 99. Awesome character. Let's use a PHS on her. Okay, everybody else is kind of lower level. Characters who should level up next. I'm gonna take Kate Sith because everybody kind of hates him. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Huh. Weird. Yeah, well, whatever. Stay on our boltering. Awesome. Alright, gonna finish leveling up Aerith and Cloud. Alright. Might take a little bit longer now that Yuffie's out of the, way. So, the idea is to level up the entire party to level 99, not just one or two. Alright, moving on. It's going to be very interesting because the next time I actually play this game, my next playthrough, I'm actually going to do something a little bit more unique. And instead of actually having the trophies that the game says I should have, I'm going to actually make a list of things I believe that I should have myself, not what people at Sony say, not people who at Square Enix say, because I honestly think that there should be achievements for some of the more intricate things about this game. In particular, taking your time to actually enjoy and smell the flowers. One of those things should be actually fighting one of every enemy in the game. Because I think that's a relatively important thing, considering in Final Fantasy XII there was a completed bestiary thing, which was kind of cool. Maybe significant achievements that people would be like, oh yeah, that's kind of important to do, and so forth. And they're not going to be like necessarily hard achievements, they're just going to be stuff that you actually have to sit around and actually do. For that purpose though, I'm not going to actually have a date achievement, because I already know who I'm going to go on the date on with in the next one. I'm hoping that I level these characters up enough that some of the characters that are sitting on the sideline will level up significantly, so I don't actually have to worry about them that much. Wonder how close I am with Aerith to leveling up. Oh, Cloud's actually closer to leveling up to level 99. What do you know? How close he's leveling up? Well, that's not so far. Alright. Because Cloud's is really not all that important. I just put cover on him. I'm gonna actually try to kill Cloud real quick, because if he's dead, everybody else gained more experience, and honestly, he doesn't need experience. Come on, targeting system, work with me. Alright, good, he's dead. Alright. Alright. Cloud is down. Oh, hey, look, I'm getting the phone call. back. Annoying phone calls sometimes just, you know, get in my way. So close to leveling her up all the way. Sometimes life likes to throw you lemons, and that's the worst thing about this new generation sometimes of cell phones, is because people always want to call you at the least convenient times. It's just convenient for them, and they're like, oh yeah, they're not doing anything. Yay, Aerith is level 99. Yay, hurrah! Alright, time to do some finagling again. We're gonna bring in... because Sid is probably gonna get a lot of attention later. I'm gonna go ahead and move in Red 13. Okay, this is one thing that really bugged me about this. So you notice that Red 13 has absolutely no double growth items. So that, I'm gonna try to get him to be where he needs to be. Let's see, we're gonna take away the fairy ring. This is probably a really bad idea, just so everybody knows. Actually, I'm gonna actually switch those two. Actually, equipment on Seth. Does he have a 4 double letter? Yes, he does. Awesome. I'm exchanging the roles because Kate Sith can be more of a tanky character, and Red 13's not really a double growth character. And I'm slowly working on this. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. Here's all of the alls that were on him. I'm actually going to exchange these alls for Cloud's everything else. It means they'll just be normal growth, so they'll have to go through about 100 and probably about 120 battles, maybe a little bit less, but because it's not double growth. Whereas Seth is double growth for that. Alright, moving on. Probably the worst idea I've ever had. Actually, it's a really bad idea. Alright, crap, I'm getting another phone call. That's grand.